It's late 2021, and our teacher, who teaches us the Slovakian language, is giving us another listening. Basically, she is reading out this text, and we have to write it down, and then she will make sure that we got all of it correctly, like the grammar. And the more mistakes that we made, we would get a worse grade. I wasn't good at listenings. In fact, I sucked, like my father, because she used to teach my father. So she said that I was going directly in his footsteps, which is a good thing because he's an entrepreneur. But anyways, I hated listenings so fucking much that I didn't even want to try them. I didn't even want to study them because that's just how shit my mental health was. Instead of actually looking at the grammar and actually searching up books about the Slovakian grammar, I would just not even try. I would just mindlessly write it and still I would get an F. And then the same day I would come home and my mom would ban me from using any electronics at all. And man, that used to frustrate the fuck out of me. Like, electronics was my escape from reality, especially in a hard time like that. Because you see, in late 2021 and early 2022, I was switching schools. I wasn't like moving to another part of the country or something like that. No, I was basically going from primary to middle school. The school system is pretty complicated in Slovakia, and it will take a long time for me to explain it to you English viewers. But just know that I was stepping a level above in the education system. So we had all these different exams coming up so that they could, like accept us to these higher schools. And man, that same Slovakian teacher was putting so much fucking pressure on us. Like it wasn't even real. Because if we wouldn't graduate and we wouldn't get accepted to that higher school, then it would be on her resume. And in fact, she was even our head teacher, so that just made it so much worse. So you can just imagine little 14-year-old me complaining, being angry, hating the system, not even being stoic or controlling his emotions. I was such an emotional wreck. However, it wasn't until late 2023 that I learned a big lesson about an ancient practice that I implemented in early 2024. You see, around March or February, I don't exactly remember, but it was this year, very early this year. Our English teacher gave us a listening. It was a really mature listening, basically for like high schoolers, basically kids who are like 19 and above. So the English was like B2 to early C1 level, and I'm like B1 to early B2 in English. I still need to make some improvements, as you may say. But still, she graded the listening. Yes, this mature listening that was meant for people who were like three years older than us. She graded it. But guess what? I got basically not the worst one and not even the best grade. I basically got the middle one, C. And a lot of my classmates got Fs. However, this time, I didn't overreact. In fact, I wasn't mad, I wasn't disappointed, I wasn't sad, but I was inspired. I was enlightened. I got a huge wake up call to actually start working on my English again. So I started watching educational videos in English more often, and I even paid more attention. And do you know why? Because the practice that I told you about earlier was Stoicism. We will talk about Stoicism more later, but let me just finish the story first. So, fast forward around 2 months later, basically to a time around 2 weeks before I'm recording this, and we were watching this movie called Gran Torino. I won't spoil the movie because it is a really great one, and I suggest that you watch it. But basically, it is about this old guy named Walt, whose wife has just died, tragically. And his family just wants to get rid of Walt so that they can take his house and take his Gran Torino, which is this like nice car, which is like really expensive. And you see, in the 1960s, he used to serve in Vietnam. And as you know, he still gets the Vietnam flashbacks to this day because he's killed a lot of Vietnamese in there. And so, the plot of the movie is, as his wife dies, there's a family of Hmong Vietnamese who moved right next door. I won't spoil it further, but just know that when we finished that movie, our teacher gave us an exam about it. And one of my classmates, who isn't really good at speaking foreign languages, of course he is better at other areas of life. No offense to him, but let me tell you, he fucking overreacted like a 3-year-old. When our teacher gave us the exam, he lashed out like a little kid. He said that you should even grade the listening that you gave us 2 months ago. Not even this. This was just a random movie that we were supposed to watch. And I was sitting there like, bro, all you had to do was just watch the movie. So what is Stoicism? And how can you use it to overcome daily frustrations? You see, Stoicism is this ancient philosophy of controlling your emotions. Basically of not giving a single fuck as a man. Not overreacting like a little bitch and using everything to your advantage. Because when you realize just how insignificant these 2 exams were, you know, the listening and this exam about the movie Gran Torino, in 6 months, they will be so... I don't want to swear a lot, but they're gonna be so fucking insignificant. Like, yeah, I know that the bad grades that you get from those 2 exams will stay there until like the half year when they give you like your, you know, your final grades and they let you go and enjoy summer. But apart from that, why does it matter? Why don't you rather focus on things that actually matter, like retiring your parents, building generational wealth, going to the gym so you can attain a godly physique, talking to women and to men to create the best relationships that you can think of. These are the things that actually matter. Now, as you may have already noticed, the difference between me from late 2021 and early 2024, me being angry about the listenings from our Slovakian teacher and me being inspired from this listening, this mature high school listening. If you've noticed that, then good job, because this right here is how you can overcome any short-term tests that life throws at you. It is to take something away from it. It is to learn something from it. Take a lesson from it. Like, for example, if you have no food at home, then why don't you take advantage of the ingredients that are laying there and make something? Search up a recipe and learn how to cook something so cheap and so delicious. There are millions of recipes out there that you can pick from. And if your mom makes you angry, then you can look at the job that she's working. She has a shitty job and she has to wake up every day at 6:30 a.m. to go to work, where she has to work for 8 hours straight, while her other co-workers are, you know, buddy with the boss and do basically no work at all because they are a lazy piece of shit. So you can get inspired by that to make a business and actually retire her and retire yourself for the rest of your life. Making mistakes isn't a bad thing. It is an opportunity to strengthen yourself, to make yourself smarter. You know that Thomas Edison, when he was making the first light bulb, he failed like 1000 times. 1000 times! If you failed 1000 times right now with your shitty stoicism skill, do you know you would get anywhere? Do you think that you'd make any progress at all? Do you know how much stoicism, how much patience, how much masculine energy was required for him to make this revolutionary discovery that we still use to this day? Do you know how many times I have failed to speak English? Do you know how many times have I failed listenings? Do you know how many times have I failed to speak on camera? Fucking hundreds of times. And yet, here still I am, coming back every single day to build this empire so that she doesn't have to work anymore. And not only because of that, also because of you, maggot. If you're still watching this video, then you're one of the smarter ones. So stop overreacting like a bitch with every single little situation that life throws at you. And instead, be grateful that you're making mistakes. Because if you're failing and making mistakes and other people are making fun of you, that means that you're getting somewhere. So stop complaining about life throwing sticks beneath your feet and actually use those sticks, collect them, so that you can use them to build a nice cottage by the sea and enjoy your life over there until you die, with quality friends by your side, with generational wealth so that your kids don't have to work anymore, and with a godly physique and godly health. But enough of ranting, I think that you get the point by now. And if you're still watching this video, I sincerely congratulate you. You are better than the 99% of people, and let's actually get to the fun stuff. So, you see, the rational part of your brain that comes up with solutions, that, learns from your mistakes, and that isn't a little bitch and overreacts, and that actually manages to control your emotions, is called the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is mainly active when you're mindful, when you have no thoughts in your brain. Because you see, when you are mindless, the monkey part, or how I like to call it, the lizard part of your mind, is active. This is the same part of your brain that is agitated all the time. It makes you want to scroll on TikTok for 10 hours straight, play tens of thousands of hours of video games, watch porn for the rest of your life, you name it. But this is also the same part of your brain that overreacts. It is the emotional part of your brain. Now, this has its benefit also. We need this part of the brain also, because this is the same part of your brain that when you put your hand on something hot, it instantly tells you to put your hand away. That is the same part of your brain. But you see, when you're mindless, your emotions are 21 times stronger than your rational thinking. Meaning that when you're mindless and just scrolling on YouTube, watching basically nothing, and not even being present half of the time, your emotions are 21 times stronger. That's why it is so hard to quit any addictions, in fact. So there is one practice that will guarantee you, if you continue to do it for the rest of your life, that will make sure that you stay mindful all the time. It is called breathing manually. The way you want to breathe is to breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, hold it in for 7 seconds, and breathe out for 8 seconds. And as a quick tip for making it this far, as you breathe in for those 4 seconds, when you feel like you're about to be full, squeak in a little bit. So basically do this. And then hold it in and then breathe out. This will guarantee that you stay mindful all the time. You just have to remember to do it. And your lizard brain and your prefrontal cortex will be active simultaneously in a healthy ratio. Okay, so now you know how to activate your prefrontal cortex, basically by manually breathing and manually turning it on. And now you won't live as your classmates anymore. You know, those who watch YouTube all day, spend time playing video games after school, and jack off like 10 times per day. Just watch out, because these addictions, they play on your monkey brain, the brain that makes you emotionally active 21 times stronger than when you are mindful. So just the next time that you indulge in a activity that makes you mindless, like scrolling on YouTube, I don't want to repeat myself, you get the point. I don't want to repeat those bad habits like 10 times because you already understand them. So just next time you find yourself indulging in one of those, then just remember that you're being mindless. And that will by itself help you to stay mindful because you learned something from that lesson. You learned something from that relapse. You learned something from that mistake. Just remember that you're above your classmates if you watch videos like these, okay? Thank you for watching this video. And remember, no one is better at being you.